Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis Legacy. The sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Recently, Romeo, also known as Little Romeo when he was younger, is now claiming that he's currently broke and that all of the money from his music career and the Rap Snacks brand were used by his father, Master P, to pay his taxes. Now, last Sunday, your Romeo went on to social media making a post regarding his mental health and called out his father, Master P, for not raising him to be a man who could take care of himself, allegedly, and also talked about how he was broke due to his father taking all of his money to pay his taxes and not paying him what he believes he was entitled to as related to money owed to him on the Rap Snacks brand. Now, when I was listening to the story about Romeo, it really made me think about my relationship with my late father, who passed away in 2017. And as I looked at your Romeo, it really made me sad to see him go out here and disrespect his father in that fashion, because it looks like to me that your Master P was setting your Romeo up for success, and because your Romeo was set up for success, he took everything for granted, and now what he wanted to do is go into a back and forth with his father to embarrass his entire family. That's the thing that your Romeo doesn't understand about the way he's behaving. He doesn't understand that this is not how a man goes out here and settles a conflict between himself and his father. No, if a man has an issue with his father, no, he goes to him in private, face to face, and he goes to him in private, face to face, so that he can go out here and settle that issue between himself and his father and show him that he is a man who can go out here and function just like any other man out here. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like your Romeo got the male life skills or male survival skills to be able to understand how to navigate the world from his father. And instead of him going out here and conflict resolving like a man, he goes out here and puts all of his father's business in the street in an effort to go out here and embarrass him. And that is extremely disrespectful to a father who's gone out here and made every effort to raise this boy and possibly given him the very best in life, because I guarantee you your Romeo possibly went to some of the best private schools. He possibly went out here and did very well as related to money, but your Romeo wants to say that his father didn't prepare him for success because he didn't get to go to college. No, that really wasn't his father's fault. No, your Romeo was too caught up in the Hollywood lifestyle to understand that if you want to be a man, you have to go out here and start working on putting together your own plan for success. That was something that I learned when I was growing up, when I would spend time with my father, was I had to go out here and make my own plan for success, because my father could only take me but so far as related to preparing me for manhood. No, after a certain point and a certain age, it's up to me to go out here and take that baton and start standing up on my own and start walking in the direction of my life that I wanted to go. And what's really sad here is that your Romeo, who is in his 30s, is sitting here talking about what his father didn't do for him, when I can look at him and see that his father did a lot for him, basically carving out a career for him as an entertainer. And as he was giving this career, he was supposed to be out here learning the business right at the side of his father. I don't know what your Romeo was doing when he was possibly on the road or going to these private schools. What was he doing? Because here's a guy who, again, was on the road to millions of dollars, but instead of him going out here and focusing on what direction he wanted to go in life, he's out here talking about he's broke, trying to make himself out to be a victim when he had all the tools to go out here and build his own wealth. And part of having the tools is understanding that you need to be in charge of your own money. That was something that he should have been focusing on as far back as 18, 19 years old, making sure that he was on top of his own money and making sure that every dollar was in his own name. But that's because he just was taking his life for granted. But he wants to blame his father, saying, "Oh, it's my father's fault that I'm not where I need to be." No, at a certain age and a certain point, you need to be on top of your money, and you need to be on top of things like your master tapes, on top of the copyrights to the publishing for your songs, and on the top of of everything as related to your trademark. Those are things that I learned all about as far back as about 26, 27 years old, when I was out here looking to start publishing my own work. And you're telling me that Romeo, who is in the entertainment business, doesn't know any of this, and his father is Master P, who owns the No Limit Records and went out here and built that business. You're telling me that the son was out here, all he was focused on was bling, entertainment, and chicks, but he wasn't focused on the more important things as related to the business and legal aspects. I mean, if a guy like me, who comes from the South Bronx and went to a college in the Bronx, can go out here and know this stuff, then why didn't your Romeo go out here and do that research when he was in his late teens and early 20s? Critical question I have to ask your Romeo as related to what he was out here doing, because for him to claim that he was broke when his father is supposed to be the one controlling his money, that's a wrong move right there. You're supposed to be the one on top of your stuff once you start to enter into manhood. And sadly, your Romeo, again, really didn't understand everything about manhood. He's sitting here again talking about his father didn't raise him the way he was supposed to be. No, there's a point where you have to go out here and start taking control, and that was something that I learned from my own father back in the mid-90s, that there was a point where he was supposed to be able to let go, and there was supposed to be a point where I was supposed to go out here and start taking on my own responsibility. And yeah, I've had my fair share of bad breaks which led to me having struggles as related to work, and that was one of the things that really upset me as related to my father and his concerns about me, because he wanted to see me have that job, and I wanted to go out here and get that job so that he wouldn't have to worry about me, and I could go out here and show him that I could be a man just like him. But I couldn't find that job, and that was one of the things that really just stays with me, that I couldn't find that work to be out here and show him that I could be that man. And that's one of the things that, again, just stays with me, because I want to go out there and do those things and go out here and show people that I can go out here and work. And since people won't let me work for them, that's why I'm working on my own SJS Direct Imprint and going out around here publishing my own books, because I'm not like a Romeo saying that it was my father's fault, because sometimes you get bad breaks, sometimes things go wrong, but a man has to go out here and take responsibility for himself. A man has to take ownership for himself, and he has to go out here and persevere in the face of adversity. And that's something that your Romeo did not get from his father, the ability to have the discipline and resolve to persevere in the face of adversity, to have the discipline and resolve to keep pushing, the discipline and resolve to keep hustling. That was something that Master P mastered, that showed me that he was a master businessman. And as a master businessman, sadly, Romeo wasn't really paying attention the way I used to pay attention when my father would come to the house and he would teach me about different things like savings bonds and different types of things that's related to money. He would teach me different things, And I use a lot of those skills to, again, build my SJS direct imprint. And I learned some other things on my own as related to going out here and publishing my own stuff independently. And again, your Romeo is sitting out there trying to make himself out to be a victim, looking for pity. And what's really sad is as he goes back and forth with his father, he doesn't understand how he's embarrassing his family and how he's making his whole family look bad by going out here and disrespecting his father, because any man out here who has an issue with his father, what he does is he goes to his father in private, he goes to him face to face, and as he goes to him face to face, he goes out here and explains his grievances, and that's how the two of them go out here and work things out. Unfortunately, what your Romeo is trying to do is something that females try to do by putting your business in the street and hoping that they'll shame you into going out here and giving up a little change, which is what Master P did as related to this check that your Romeo is looking for. And what he did was, again, he got the money, but he lost his intangibles of manhood, like his dignity, his self-respect, and his self-worth, and he further tarnished the image of his father, Master P, who is a brilliant businessman, and went out here and, as a brilliant businessman, was looking out here trying to help out people in his family, because he basically put his entire family on. Once he got his No Limit brand put together back in the 90s, he put his whole family on, helped them all get records, helped them all become stars. Unfortunately, many of the members in his family, like Romeo, really don't understand the business of entertainment, and they don't understand that in the business of entertainment, you've got to put yourself first, and you've got to go out here and focus on putting yourself first as related to your publishing, as related to your copyrights, as related to your brand. You're the one who has to go out here and look out for your paper, because nobody in this entertainment business is going to look out for your paper, even your relatives. No, when it comes down to your paper, you have to look out for your paper. You have to go out here and find new ways to make paper. That's the way it is in business. And again, that's the lesson I learned from my father, because after a certain point, it was up to me to start taking the baton, start carrying the weight, start going out here and making my own way. And it was up to me to go out here and try to find a way to make a living. And if I couldn't make a living in the job market, I would have to find another legitimate way. And again, that's why I started the SJS Direct Imprint. And again, I wanted to try to show my father some success, because when it comes down to your relatives, they're not going to be here with you all the way. And again, you want to show those family members respect. And that was one of the things I wanted to show my father before he passed away. I wanted to show him respect by going out here and having a way to make a living, because I know from my own personal experience, again, losing my father and losing a sister just recently, people who love you aren't here all the time. And again, you need to appreciate those people while they're alive, and you need to express your gratitude to those people while they're alive, because they may not be here again, and you may regret ever saying things like what Romeo did. I mean, I was glad that I was able to thank my father before he wound up passing, and be able to let him know how much I appreciated everything he did for me. I was glad I got that chance to talk to him before he wound up leaving this earth. And your Romeo, he doesn't understand what he's doing is, again, one, extremely ungrateful, and two, he doesn't understand that his father could be gone tomorrow, and he's going to have to live with the memory of going out here and embarrassing his father in a public eye. And he's going to have to think about how badly he treated his father, because that's going to stay with him for the rest of his life. And this is something many kids like Romeo who grow up living very well don't really think about, because they think they've got all the time in the world. But I can tell you, as a guy who, again, lost his own father and lost a sister, you don't know how much time you have in this world. You don't know how much time you are going to be on this earth. And you don't know when the people you love are going to go away. So you really need to go out here and appreciate those people. And that's what I give Romeo that advice. You need to appreciate the people in your life, because those people may not be there tomorrow, and you may wind up regretting saying something or doing something that winds up disrespecting them, because you may not get that chance to atone or apologize for it. And that's something your Romeo really isn't thinking about as he's writing poems like The Tree of Trauma. I'll tell you from my experience, it's far more traumatic to go out here and not be able to have your father to go back to. It's really far and traumatic when you can't have any time to spend with that parent or be able to talk to them. That's really traumatic when you think about it. But sadly, you have your Romeo, again, a spoiled kid who took his life for granted and really didn't understand that you cannot keep relying on your parents. You've got to go out here and be your own man. You've got to go out here and take care of your own business. And it's not about your Master P and that money. No, it's about you going out here and looking to go out here and build your own stuff. And you've got to get to that point, because I had to get to that point in my 20s where I'm thinking to go out here and work on my own. And again, what he did to his father was disrespectful. What he did to his father was to shame him. And even though I've sometimes had issues with my father about, my unemployment struggles, I never put his business on the street. I never disrespected him. I always said, okay, I'm trying my hardest because I want to go out here and do this. And again, one of the reasons why I wanted to do that was because I wanted to get the respect of my father and show him I could be a man like him. And the whole thing is, I look at your Romeo, and again, he's out here not understanding what he's doing, and he's sitting up here talking about how his father wasn't doing right by him. But when I look at his father again, he did the very best he could do for him. And he's talking about gaslighting, when I can look at what's going on in his life. And again, it reminds me of my own relationship. And again, a lot of us don't appreciate what our fathers are trying to do for us until it's too late. And sadly, I don't think that your Romeo understands what his father was trying to do for him. And again, he doesn't understand there's a point where you have to step up, and there's a point where you have to step out and be your own man and have the character to go out here and do what you need to do as a man, to go out here and take care of yourself. Because again, your father is only supposed to raise you to a point where you wind up taking care of your own business. And sadly, your Romeo doesn't understand that by putting his father's business out in the street shows he's not ready to take care of his own business. No, he's just showing me he's ungrateful. He's not understanding that his father put in years of work to get him to a certain point, and he doesn't even know how to carry his own baton, because again, he's out here playing the victim. But there's no victim here. There's just a boy who is basically looking like he grew up to become a man in crisis. Now, if you want to see me make more videos about and the entertainment industry, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my positive black fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spisarella trilogy, you can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.